Hey guys, welcome back to The Grey Escape. I'm Natalie Gray, and this is part 2 of a very special episode with Pierre Rubessa. And if you were just listening to this show, you know the show is now partnered with what is, in my opinion, the hands-down best international money transfer option available. Just go to thegreyescape.com/cash, and because you're a fan of this show, you can transfer up to £2,000 or whatever the equivalent is in your currency for free. That's thegreyescape.com/cash. So don't pay hidden bank fees. Don't let your bank or credit card company sneakily skim some off the exchange rate when you can save 89% on what other companies charge, including PayPal. thegreyescape.com/cash and send some money internationally now for free. Okay, it is time for part 2 with Pierre Rubessa. You probably know why I'm excited. You should be excited. And if you're not, you're going to be. I'll tell you all about it right after this. So, in part 1 of this episode, we heard Canadian electronic musician turned sound scientist Pierre Rubessa speak about all sorts of cool stuff. How he spent 13 years in his lab in Switzerland developing the bioscope and his own audio vitality sound treatment system, a gadget that can heal people with sound. If you guys listen to this show regularly, you will know why that is significant to me. Pierre's audio vitality sound treatment has been recognized as an official therapeutic method in Switzerland. And you know those Swiss. They don't just go approving things willy-nilly. They're not just giving out free passes on medical gadgets. The Swiss, they're precise. It's got to be amazing to get approved by the Swiss. And Pierre's audio vitality system clearly is amazing, because we heard in part 1 how it's helping people with all kinds of health issues like cancer, Parkinson's, and autism. We also learned in part 1 the horrible reason why the Exorcist soundtrack is so scary, and the synthesizer's role in shaping sound and manipulating energy. Well, all of these things have now got you fully prepped to hear what the heck happened to Pierre. I'm not stalling. This is it. This is what you've been waiting for. And Pierre's daughter Nina is still sat in on things, waiting patiently to see her band. She's a good daughter. Okay, I want to hear it. The fantastical tale. You're going to hear it. Here's electronic musician turned sound scientist and inventor of a sound healing machine, Pierre Rubessa. How do you even begin?
Okay, so let's go. We'll take our time machine.
Already like it.
And we'll beam ourselves into 1978.
Cool beans. My brother has just been born. We're 2 years off the loss of John Lennon and finding out who shot JR.
Okay.
Continue.
So, I am 17 years old. And I'm parking the car.
This story sucks. Not what I was expecting.
Wait a minute. I'm just starting with the story.
Fantastical, just remember.
We're having band practice. And I'm taking this huge amplifier I had borrowed from a friend. Because, in fact, no, it wasn't band practice. It was actual concert. And I'm loading this amplifier, taking it out of the car, placing it on the stage. I had 3 friends help me to move this. So the rest of my equipment was put up on stage. The synthesizers, the organ, my Roland SH5. And, okay, we're doing a show this evening. I'm very happy with this.
If this gets made into a movie, I'm going to do some editing. Okay?
So
So the hook is just left.
I'm hooking up my equipment, right? I could hook up my equipment. Here's this big amplifier. I didn't have an amplifier this size of my own, so I borrowed this from a friend. Giant thing. Plugged it in, switched it on, and it went. That's a bad sound. Bad sound when your amplifier goes and all the lights go out. Oops, what happened there? I opened the fuse box. Fuse is blown. Saturday night. The show is about to go on. It's maybe 8 o'clock at night.
Story's heating up a little bit here.
Shops are closed. No fuse. No spare fuse. What do? You invent. So I go over to my band member, who was a smoker. I said, I need your pack of cigarettes. I said, why? You're taking up smoking? And I said, no, I need the tin foil in your pack of cigarettes.
Whoa.
And I took the tin foil and I rolled it up nice and tight into a cylinder. And I pushed it into the fuse box, closed the fuse box, and flicked the switch. And guess what happened? The amplifier went bzzz.
The good sound, right?
This is a good sound.
That it's working.
Yes. Great. Look, all the lights are
Pretty
on.
cool.
It's making that buzz sound that we get from amplifiers.
So far, this would be suitable for children's TV, kind of
Yes.
like an Inspector Gadget kind of thing we got going on.
Yeah, good,
over
right?
here.
So you go, wow, you see? I'm a smart guy. So I take my cable, patch it into the amplifier, take the other end. As I'm walking in full pride, I'm about to plug the other cable into the output of my synthesizer. And I place my finger on the tip while I'm holding the other end. And you know what happened?
You got electrocuted.
Time stopped.
Ooh.
And I had a very strange feeling in my body. The last thing I was looking at was my panel, but it would be getting further and further away from me in discrete steps. It wasn't a linear displacement. It was like what you would see like in freeze frame.
I've seen this as well as part of my experience. I saw a piece of paper fall and I saw all the locations of the paper. Yes.
Right?
Yes, I've seen this.
Okay. So this was back of synthesizer going getting further and further away. Next thing I know, I'm in space. I'm floating through space. I'm consciousness in space. I'm conscious of myself. I'm conscious that I have no body.
But an awareness.
But an awareness, and it's slightly luminous. So like a shimmering cloud of awareness. I am the shimmering cloud of awareness. Do I have legs? I may have, but they are so far away, some 100 million light years away, that I can't feel my legs. I can't say the same thing for my arms, or I can say the same thing as for my arms. I am aware. I'm lucid. I'm observing where I am. What do I see around me, above me, to the left, to the right? I see stars.
Were they in order or were they random, like we picture space typically?
It's space.
Just random,
As
scattered.
if I was looking at the night sky.
Okay.
And I'm traveling through the night sky. And how can I tell that I'm traveling? I can tell that I'm traveling because I see the stars moving and
Right.
the constellations, new constellations appearing, new stars appearing, others disappearing from my field of view. My field of view is very, 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 very large. It's like Hubble large.
Right.
And I realize that I'm actually moving towards a very specific constellation that starts to fill up space. And as I approached this constellation, I noticed that what started off as maybe a dozen stars, all of a sudden was several dozen stars, and then several hundred stars, and then it became thousands of stars and then millions of stars. And I realized that, in fact, this constellation had the shape of a human body, the outline of a human body. So a head, shoulders, you saw clearly where the head was connected to, shoulders, the torso, maybe arms or legs. Luminous, very large, filling up all of my field of vision. And we're speaking hundreds of light years from one end to the other. And there was a flash. The next memory, I'm laying on the ground, looking up at the rigging on the stage. So I see the spotlights, the cables, the walkway. And I'm hearing sounds. And these are the sounds of panic. People yelling, people in panic. Until I hear the guitar player who proclaims to everybody, look, 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 he's opened his eyes. And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I see there are people coming up around me, standing above me. And they help me up. I'm not sure whether they should or not. And my whole body is pulsing. My whole body is pulsing. I have strange sensations in my hands and in my feet, and it feels like my hair is on fire. And so I bring myself to myself. I say, okay, well, I think it's time to get on with the hookups, right?
Wow.
I said, are you okay? Are you fine? I'm perfectly fine. Everything's good. What happened?
I tried to build a gadget with a cigarette paper.
And they said, we were setting up our equipment, and all of a sudden we saw you flying through the air, and you landed on your back here on the stage and did not move. And we sent Mike out to call an ambulance. This was the days before iPhones, right? And so eventually Mike came back. We sent the ambulance away. And we went on with the show. And it was there that day that I understood something absolutely fundamental in life. Absolutely fundamental. The purpose of fuses.
Not what I was expecting. Not what I was expecting.
Very important reason why we build fuses and design fuses into electrical pieces of equipment. Because it prevents electrocution from happening on a daily basis to people.
Well, yes. Jeez, is this his big revelation?
That
you nearly
day,
blew yourself up, and you learned that's why this fuses.
This was that day, right? This was the big.
I hope this profound revelation progresses somewhat. Hello, Eckhart Tolle. Don't blow yourself up.
So, realize that engineers do very important things in life to save people from blowing themselves up and setting things on fire.
Yes.
Well, the show went on as planned. Everything was fine. This time, just before connecting my cable, I was very careful not to touch the tip when I patched the cable into the back of the synthesizer. Well, some weeks after this experience, another very interesting thing happened to me.
Is this going to start with parking your car? Because we could maybe retweak it or something.
I came home.
That's even worse.
No. It was horrific, right? Okay. I did park the car. There was a driveway.
You're in the cars. Jesus. You got to work with this guy. Get him a writer if he's going to be doing this stuff.
I parked my interdimensional vehicle in the driveway.
Okay.
Huh?
That's better. Yeah.
Is it?
I like it.
You like that?
Yeah. You got me.
My 2-seater interdimensional vehicle was parked in the parking lot. And I went into my biological survival chamber that I
Cool.
spent every night in.
At Blur, what was it? Spadina and Queen?
It was in...
Queen and Spadina, for those people in Toronto. You would never say Spadina and Queen.
At that time, no, this was Dufferin and Sinclair.
Okay, all right.
Dufferin and Sinclair.
So you're in-
Little Italy.
Okay, so you're in your little biological chamber in Little Italy.
And I'm laying in bed. The moment I get into bed and I close my eyes, I start to hear a sound. Kind of like a thundering sound, a hissing sound. Rain. Maybe it's rain. And I'm listening and I'm thinking, well, this is strange because it was a clear day, a clear night. I just got home. How did all of a sudden the storm come? And I'm listening for a moment. And I get up and I look out the window, expecting to see rain and thunder. I love to watch thunder and lightning. And no, there was nothing. It was a clear night sky. Strange. Go back into bed. Lay down. Close my eyes. Instantly, the sound comes back. Interesting. What is this?
Can you do an impression of the sound?
An impression.
Like, was it more hissy or, because you said like a hiss or like thunder?
Thunder. An underground, London underground coming, but you can hear it from the other station.
So like a faint
down the
rumble.
tube, a rumble accompanied with hissing, hissing and rumbling.
All right.
Rolling thunder. Rolling thunder.
Okay.
And this time it was a lot closer, a lot louder. I thought, wow, this came on quickly. Okay, out of bed again, look out the window. Nothing. I can see the stars. Lampposts, cars are parked. It's very late at night. Go back into bed. Same thing happens. And I said, oh no, this is not going to get me a third time. I'm listening. And by now, the whole room is trembling. I feel that it's not just my room. It's, in fact, the entire neighborhood is trembling. So I'm thinking people should be coming out of their houses now because this is the storm of the century. And I decided now is a good time because now I am absolutely convinced and certain that this storm is just above the house. And I go to move. And I can't move. I'm completely paralyzed. I am aware of where I am. My eyes are open. I cannot move my legs, my arms. I cannot move my body. And I'm thinking this is really bad, right? Because maybe it had something to do with that accident a few weeks ago that just burnt out my central nervous system. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life here like this, right? This is bad. This is really bad.
That would be terrifying.
And next thing that happens, I see a glow on the ceiling. And it starts to glow, starts to get really bright. And then it just opens up like this. And there's this incredible light shining through the ceiling. And I can see the silhouette of a being. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is very strange. I'm very lucid now. I'm in a panic. I can't move. There's this sound. The ceiling has just opened up. There is this thing here that I can see in silhouette. It's very tall. And I'm now really in panic. But I have no mouth, but I must scream.
Wow.
And this creature says to me one thing. It says, peace. I heard it in my ears. I heard it in my cells. I heard it in my hands. I heard it with my taste buds. I heard it with all my odor circuits. I heard it with my eyes. Peace. Instantly, I'm relaxed. Instantly, I am fully lucid. I know where I am. I know what I've just done. Tried to get up, got up 2 times, and third time tried to get up, didn't move. Light shining through the ceiling. This thing saying peace that I understood to the beyond my last molecule. And we began a conversation. And it said to me, you have to do something here. And I will be here to guide you. And I said, okay, what do I need to do? And it said, you will know. But I want you to promise me something. I want you to promise me that everything I tell you, you will write down. You will take a notebook and you will write down. And I said, okay, I promise. And it went away. I bolted out of bed. I was completely trembling. I realized at that point that I was completely wet. I realized that, in fact, my sheets were completely wet. I looked outside. Perfectly quiet night. I ran into my parents' room. Everybody's asleep. My brother, he's asleep. Neighborhood, everybody's asleep.
Wow.
What happened next was even stranger. I started to have perceptions. I could feel things. I could feel places. I could feel things from people that they weren't telling me. I could feel things from objects. And when a particular feeling came upon me, this creature, which I call he, she, it, because at the time I didn't know whether it was male or female or something in between, would come and would start to explain things to me. Oh, what you're feeling now is electrical flux inside the electromagnet of the transformer inside the machine.
So you were getting scientific information.
Yes. I feel something with a stone, with an object. Why do I feel these strange things from this object right here?
Do you feel it right now?
No, because we're having this discussion. Okay. I'm trying to focus on it.
Well, I didn't know if you meant it when you just said.
So I would feel something from an object, and it would come and say, oh, the reason that you're feeling something from the object is that in such and such a time, this and this happened. When this happened, there was a certain sound. This sound penetrated this object. The sound changed the molecules in time and in space. And as the sound dissipated, the molecules were rearranged. We can't see it physically, but on a molecular level, this impression has been imprinted on this object. It is like concrete, fresh concrete. We step into it. We see that there is an impression in the concrete. Many years later, we can come back and we can do chemical analysis. We can take microscopes and we look at the concrete and we look at the impression. And what do we find? We find concrete. We don't see the impression. We see the concrete. Using our tools that we have, analytical tools, analytical methods. We see concrete that is in the impression. We see the concrete that is next to the impression.
Right.
So,
but you can learn what was there by the investigation.
Exactly. So if you begin to shift your perceptions, you realize, oh my God, the reason I'm feeling this, there's a whole process behind this. It's not some sort of a magical thing here. There is actual physics involved in me perceiving this, not only what I am perceiving in the object, but why I am perceiving what I am perceiving.
You and John Stewart Reid so have to hook up, because in his interview he spoke about someone that he knows who was picking up impressions from a little hotel wall, and he could tell what had happened in the room from these sensations, and Men in Black came and had words with this guy. So, I mean, there's some all sorts of stuff that we have no clue about, but you clearly were tapped into that ability there.
If I would recount the story to people, they would say, wow, this guy's flipped out.
See, I don't feel that at all. I mean, you're talking to someone who spoke scientific information, so I'm there.
I actually would say that. I would say that about myself.
Yes, I would also.
I did say that about myself.
Yeah, I would also.
And one day during the visitation, I said, if I tell this story to anybody, you know what, they're going to take me for I don't know, some, in French they say illuminé, an illuminated one. Mm-hmm. But it's a negative connotation. And she had said to me, I'm going to give you something to prove to you that this is real. That it is not just a hallucination. And I said, okay, what is it? He said, when the time comes, you will have it. You will know who it's from.
Oh, I know where this is going.
You know where this is going?
Yep.
I went to visit my cousin who was getting married. It was November. And I'm walking by the sea. It's a stormy day. And a woman comes to me. There's nobody on the walkway. A woman comes to me as if appearing out of nowhere. She places something in my hand and she says, this is yours. And she disappears. Because by the time I looked at what this was, what? What's this?
And when you say disappears, are we talking our normal sense of disappear, like she wandered off, or she vanished, disappeared?
No, I'd say she went.
She went off.
She went. I wasn't really paying too much attention because all of a sudden I had this thing in my hand. And I thought, wow, this is an interesting thing. How cool is that? Well, some time went by and I showed this to my friends and I explained the story of what happened. And they said, wow, that's a cool thing, right? That's a really cool thing. Until a friend of mine said, oh, why don't you take it to the Department of Antiquities at the Royal Ontario Museum? I thought, great idea.
Yeah,
let's go.
Solid idea.
You know, they've got all this Greek stuff and Phoenician stuff and ancient Babylonian objects and writings and cuneiforms and so on. I said, wow, cool idea. Let's go. So we went. I don't remember the man's name now, but they looked at it. And they said, Roman, no, don't think so. Greek, well, could be. It could be an amulet. It could be a game coin or playing piece. Would you allow us to actually run a carbon-14 and a chemical analysis on it? I said, what does that mean? That means we need to break off a little piece and we need to do a chemical analysis. I said, okay, but a very small piece. Some weeks later, I get a phone call. It's the museum. I said, oh, good, the results are in. Let's go. Museum, into the office. Ooh, the office is full of people.
Ooh.
Pierre, we actually analyzed your piece and, this is director so-and-so, and we've decided that the museum would like to purchase this project. And here is the check.
How much did they want to give you? Are you allowed to say?
At the time, it was quite a substantial amount of money. I could have bought a very nice synthesizer.
So a few $1,000s.
At least.
I mean, I would only consider selling the artifact for like a house. If you buy a house.
I could have made a very nice down payment on a very nice house.
Not good enough.
Yeah, right.
Not good enough.
Right? So I said, no, quand même, it's my, it belongs to me.
Yeah.
I need it
Good.
right now.
Good.
So they said, okay, okay. Here are the results. Carbon 14, so carbon dating, inconclusive. So this is where the pom 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 sound effect comes
Yeah.
in. Chemical analysis. Carbon, 0. Silicon, 0. Oxygen, 0. So
What's it made of?
what is it made of? They said, we have never had an experience like this because all of our analysis comes out to 0. We cannot say what this is made from. Because it apparently is made of something that we have not seen before. So we can't say that it's a stone, we can't say it's a mineral, we can't say it's a bone, we can't say it's wax, we can't say it's plastic. We don't know what it's made. We cannot identify this material. We also suspect there were indications that it may have been covered with gold at some time.
Wow.
So there may have been a layer of gold on it.
Huh.
I said, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. He gave you a used one.
Could be.
The creature.
Yeah.
She, it. It's defective.
So I thought, okay, this is interesting. Over the years, I have tried to get it photographed and x-rayed, and nothing happens in x-rays. One of two things actually happens. Something does happen in x-rays. We either get a blank film, or we just see the outside of the object, but not the inside. So as if we actually took a photograph, but not an x-ray.
Wow. So this is impermeable to our x-ray technology.
Well, let me just continue here.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
3 years ago, I was doing a project with the National Research Center for Water in the Netherlands. And the cool thing in that laboratory is they have a tunneling scanning microscope.
It sounds great. What does it do?
This device is able to take photographs of atomic structures.
Pretty cool.
It's cool. It looks like a little submarine.
You're the hot one on the block if you've got one of those gadgets.
Absolutely.
Right.
I want one.
Right.
I want one.
Women may even sleep with you for access to a machine like that.
Oh, they certainly would. Absolutely.
You don't even have to know how to play an instrument when you've got one of them thingamajigs.
It's better than a bass.
It's better than a Roland,
Yeah,
better than a guitar.
So it resembles a small submarine. It's a sphere painted yellow, and it has a little porthole.
Wow.
And on top it has one of those tourney lamps.
Like a periscope.
No, like one of those.
That's what they're called,
one of
Pierre.
those- no, it's a lamp like you would see on an ambulance or something, you know? And the way it works is they prepare the sample, they place it into the machine, they close the hatch, and they click the start button, and this lamp begins to spin.
Periscopy thing.
And the color is yellow, and you're supposed to wait until it turns green. And why? What is happening during this process? You hear a lot of hissing and buzzing going on. Because right now what's happening is that the machine is creating a vacuum inside the chamber. If there is no vacuum, the microscope is so powerful that you would see the molecules of air, and they would interfere with the sample.
Pollution.
So the first day, we're watching, so we're all in the control room, and we're watching this yellow lamp spinning around, and we're hearing this huffing and puffing of this machine as it's trying to make a vacuum. 5 minutes goes by. The technician operating the device says, "Oh, this is very strange. We don't seem to be getting a vacuum." 10 minutes goes by. No vacuum. I said, "Wow, strange. This is the first time I've seen this." I said, "I think there's a problem with the machine. We need to quit." I said, No, just let it go, let it go.
Is that what they do in the scientific world? They switch it on and off? They reboot their submarine
it's
gadget?
the equivalent of a rebooting.
Right.
We're going to reboot our system.
We need to quit. Exit.
So they did. They rebooted the computers. Okay, we start the whole process again. It starts huffing and puffing, and all the lights are blinking on the control panel, and the computer screens are ready for the images. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Huff, puff, huff, puff. Yellow light turning. Nothing is happening. Finally, he hits the red button, shut down. Okay, sorry. Machine broken. We'll need to call technical service, but that's okay because this is a multi-million-dollar machine, so technical service will come in this evening. So tomorrow morning, we'll restart the whole process. So we went out for dinner. We had Dutch cheese and sandwiches.
Very scientific.
And we came back the next day. The technician was quite perplexed because, as he said, technical service came after you guys left and they didn't find anything wrong with the machine. It's newly calibrated, voila, and it's ready to go. In fact, we used it earlier this morning, to do an experiment with Professor so-and-so. Okay. Ready to go. It's our turn now. Object goes into the chamber. We close the port. We go into the control room. They start up the machine. The huffing, puffing. 5 minutes, nothing. 10 minutes, nothing. 15 minutes, nothing. We're coming up to, she's going to hit the red switch to abort. And I saw the hand coming down, and somebody said, "Look, there's an image." The hand froze 1 inch, like it's just like in the James Bond movies.
Yes.
It's like 1 second before detonation.
Yes, it's a little like Bond.
Here we stop. It was great. And we see, what do we see? We see that there is, first of all, green light is on. So this is good. This is good sign. Image on the screen. Very fuzzy image. I said, there's something wrong with the image. I think we'll just do some adjustments. No, I think we'll do some more adjustments. We don't seem to be getting an image. There must be something wrong with the machine.
Oh, God.
Let me just try something. So, in the computer, reset this, do that. Said, no, can't seem to be getting an image. Maybe we will boost the energy. So typically, images are done at 10,000 volts. So we go to 10 and a half. We go to 11. We're hitting 12.
To 11. To get to 11.
Yes. We're hitting 12. No image. 12 and a half. No image. The meters are getting into the red now. And she is saying, if we keep increasing this, we risk, in fact, of destroying the sample. It'll just vaporize. And I said, no, you continue.
My rock can take anything.
13,000, 14,000, 15,000. Everything is in the red. We're at the maximum. No luck in getting an image. We say, okay, there's another thing we can try. She adjusted the calibration, shot an electron beam. We actually captured something. Everybody was very glad because all of a sudden we did actually see something on the surface. Magnification 1000. Beyond magnification 1000, we cannot penetrate beyond that. Why? Because there's interference coming from the object. Okay, let's print the spectrum. The spectrum shows 50% C, 50% O, and then some trace minerals.
What is that, like carbon dioxide type of thing? What even is that? C and N?
CO.
Carbon and oxygen?
Carbon and oxygen, which is what element? Chemistry
I told you,
101.
I'm a scientist now. I know this stuff. Bring it on.
Carbon monoxide.
I thought that's what I meant, carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide, CO.
Right.
So CO is a gas, right?
Right.
Unless you freeze it to like minus 300 degrees.
Or make it a liquid.
Yeah.
Can you make it a liquid, or am I thinking of
you can,
something else?
but it's really cold then,
right,
you know?
That's right.
So she said, well, this doesn't make any sense. She calls the director of the laboratory, and he comes, and she gives him the printouts. He looks at this, and he said, this is the spectrum from the object there? And she says, yes. He looks at the two peaks. She tried on several different locations on the stone, or of the object, to take the spectrum. It's all CO, CO, CO. He looks at the results. He looks at the object, gives her the papers. He turns away, says, call technical service. There's a problem with her machine.
Oh. Clearly these people don't have a lot of faith in this machine.
Obviously.
Right.
So I have posted all of the images. I have posted the spectra on my Facebook page. And you know what else? I brought it with me.
Oh. Oh, we're going to see the rock. I'm going to get to see this special. Now, I mean no offense when I say to describe this to people. Can I even touch it? Am I allowed to touch it? Or no, I don't have to touch it. It's okay. I'll just look at it. It looks possibly like a squashed piece of white chewing gum that you pulled off your sneaker. And I genuinely mean no offense when I say that. That is what it looks like to me. If I saw that on the floor, there is nothing that would make me go to pick that up. And yet this has had all this fancy analysis on it. Wow, it just looks like an old, round, flat, dried up piece of white clay, or yeah, that's about what it looks like. Now, when you hold this, you know, have you tried meditating with it or anything? It's very cracked, like the surface of a desert. Like if you went to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, it's got all those cracky looking dry desert, like an old waterbed that's dried up. It looks incredibly old. It's also kind of octagon-y shaped. Mm-hmm. Clearly my assessment is improving a little bit over the initial swashed gum theory. Wow. It also has a sort of a dirt, what looks like a little bit of usage dirt, as though if you were handling something for many, many years, like if that was a currency, it would get worn with the usage. There's sort of a layer of what appears to be dirt on it. Maybe it's a coin in wherever it came from. Perhaps it's a currency, and that's why it would have maybe had gold on it. Did you ever feel stuff when you held that because you had that sensitivity to objects?
Do you remember when you were a child what happened when I put this on your forehead?
Oh, he really did experiment on you, didn't he? Here's this substance not known to man. Let's put it on my child's face. What else have you done with that stone? You put it on Nina's head. Have you tried to heal with it?
Right now it's sleeping.
Oh, it's sleeping.
Yes.
So it has energetic activity.
It's dormant.
Okay. And how often does it wake up?
When I make it wake up.
So you communicate with it and can...
So you have to do something very special to make it wake up.
And now you totally don't have to tell me if that's a big secret.
I will totally not tell you right now what that is.
Will you tell me off the microphone if I promise not to tell?
I will actually go one step further. I would like to show you. And one step further, I would like to record.
I can do that.
This.
Yeah, I can do that.
So we can film.
I have the equipment right here to do that.
So that's my invitation.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think we can do that today because right now we're running out of time.
Okay.
I have a dinner this evening. It's it's rather important because it is actually, I'll just tell you, it is with an individual whose son has autism. And as I have worked already with quite a few children, autistic children, who were treated with the audio vitality system, we have seen remarkable improvements with them.
Wow.
So I'm here to speak to her about
Great.
doing a series of treatments for her son.
Oh, that's lovely.
So I'm sorry, but I
Yes, you've got to go.
I'm committed
Yes,
to
no, I
this,
understand. A quick question, just because I know you have to go, but with the audio vitality machine, are we actually able to hear the audio when you're in the machine, or is it the frequencies that we don't hear with our human
we
ears?
hear it. We
so,
hear it.
and what sort of sound? Is it a pleasant sound, a bit musical, or is it more like when you're in an MRI machine and it's
You see this?
this orange pencil crayon? Yes.
You see this?
Pink pencil crayon? Yeah.
See this?
Yellow pencil crayon?
Is this yellow?
Oh, sorry, greeny. Okay. Rembrandt, it's lime green.
Do you know the physical phenomena that is happening that allows you to perceive this?
I know it's to do with, again, frequency of the color.
Exactly. Electromagnetic vibrations, because intrinsically no object has color. Color comes from the interplay of electromagnetic vibration existing in a very specific frequency band.
Called visible light.
Exactly.
I told you. You
That
can
is-
hire me if you want for this stuff.
So this electromagnetic vibration is now coming to the surface of these objects. And these objects are actually absorbing all of the wavelengths except for this one and this one and this one, which are being reflected back out. And this reflection we are perceiving through our eye, and we are interpreting this as the colors orange, violet, and green. Now imagine if you could hear this. The basis of audio vitality is the sound of light.
Is it called the solfeggio sequence that happens to be the rainbow color frequencies? Is that correct? Or the geometric? Am I thinking of
It's a
Pythagoras came up with?
Yes, it's a combination of things. Those are already human interpretations. So if we take away the human interpretations, what do we end up? We end up with physics, whether we were humans or we were robots or we were aliens from some other universe or some other planet. In fact, if we observed the physical phenomena occurring here, let's not put interpretations on it first. So purely...
I'm like so getting my hand slapped now.
Huh? No. Because I'm trying to relearn everything.
Yeah.
Okay?
I understand.
Over years and years and centuries, certain ideas and concepts have been bashed into our heads.
Right.
And we are building upon a house whose foundations actually are on sand.
Right.
The truth, the fundamental knowledge has been lost. Not only that, the context is different. We cannot take information written 2,000 years ago and apply it into today's environment with iPhones and internet and Wi-Fi and satellites and GPS and atomic tunneling scanning microscopes. We need to develop a new terminology. We need to develop some new concepts. And
We have to recognize how dumb we are,
yes,
basically.
yes. So let's start from the beginning. Let's take it for what it is. Let's just observe the pure phenomena without giving it our interpretations. Yes, we can talk alchemy. We can write volumes of interpretations of why this is and what that is and how it works. We don't know how it works, okay? Frankly, we don't know how it works. What we can do is we can apply, we can observe. So let's take some time. Let's lower our
Smarty pants.
our smarty pants, and let's just observe again. Let's put ourselves back into the shoes of Pythagoras. Let's take all the rule books and put them on the side. Let's use them as reference, yes. But let's begin from scratch.
Who apparently, and of course we have no way of knowing this is true, apparently made people be silent for 5 years before they could come and work with him.
Yes, yes. This happens if you enter certain
like a monastery.
Monasteries, in Buddhist monasteries. Actually, there's a monastery very close to where I am. The monks, they're called the Chartreuse monks, and they spend all of their time in silence. One time per year, they get together and they may share a conversation. And the rest of the time is spent in silence and meditation. And the reason for this is we have far too much blah blah going on upstairs. And this needs to stop.
Yeah.
This really needs to stop. This pollutes what we are actually perceiving, because we're starting to conceptualize, we're starting to create meanings and concepts that are not necessarily true. So if we can validate this 1 times, 5 times, 100 times, how can we be sure that the concepts of Pythagoras are still valid today? We see in maths, and one of the great questions in for example, music tuning, is the Pythagorean comma. I mean, this was a thorn in the side of the whole Pythagorean concept. I'm sorry, it's not perfect. The universe is not perfect.
What's the Pythagorean comma?
Oh, that's a complicated thing to try to explain right now. It has to do with the perceptions of tones, tonality, and ratios between the lengths of strings and the perceived tone that they generate in us when we listen to this. So, for example, if we take a piece of string, we cut the string in 2, we have
an octave higher.
2-to-1 relationship, we have an octave higher, exactly. If we cut it into 3 pieces, we have a 5th, so a ratio of 3-to-2, etc. So if we continue this process up the scale, we'll realize that at a certain point in time, we will no longer fall into our nice orderly pattern. And I think this may have been a very big embarrassment to Pythagoras when they discovered this phenomena. The whole system of Western tuning has been trying to solve this question certainly for the last 500, 600 years. Many different tuning systems have been attempted throughout the ages. One that actually stuck, purely for practical purposes and reasons, is equal temperament tuning. What is equal temperament tuning is basically the tuning that we have on a piano between the white notes and the black notes, where an octave is separated by 12 tones, called the 12-tone scale. So what we are doing is we are taking this mathematical relationship of 2-to-1, we're dividing it by 12, and we have the ability, the practical ability to play music in different scales. Before equal temperament, an orchestra who was playing, if they had to play a piece in a different key, they would need to retune their instruments. Now, some instruments you couldn't retune because they were built mechanically.
Like a tuba or something.
They were built and you couldn't change the key of the instrument so easily. And equal temperament allowed music to evolve. It was a practical thing also. But what it did, it disassociated tunings from the natural scales, which go back to the days of Pythagoras and even before Pythagoras. So natural scales were based on the natural resonances, the natural relationship, the vibratory relationships that in fact happen in nature. The equal tempered scale broke away with tradition. what we have with an equal tempered scale. We no longer have the relationship that is natural. Now, we have become very accustomed to Western tuning system. It's called a Western tuning system. And this is why when we compare Western tuning systems and Western music to, for example, music, Indian music or Chinese music or Middle Eastern music that are still based on the natural tuning.
They sound like world music to us.
Yes, they sound a little bit strange.
Like they're made from a tribe.
Yes, exactly. But
no offense, India.
Those tuning systems are based on natural resonances. So with the audio vitality system, I'm directly converting light information into a sound.
Wow.
This is not an artistic impression. There's a whole series of calculations that happens. It converts wavelengths of light into audible sound.
Wow.
And these are projected by a special playback system or amplification system that I designed into the person's body.
Amazing.
So light is the basis, but on top of light, when we look around us, what do we see? We do not only see light,
color,
or colors.
That's the right answer.
Yes. We also see, this is a little bit round. That is more square. This one is triangular. This is rectangular. This is cubic. This is octahedral.
Right.
We see shape. We see geometry. We see shape.
That's a correct answer also.
So I combine the information of light with the information of geometry.
Wow.
And then it goes one step further. We also can then apply neural oscillations into the mix.
Intentions? Is that intentions? Thoughts? Is that what a neural oscillation is?
Neural oscillations are states of consciousness.
Okay. Okay.
So from deep sleep
to
REM sleep, so our dream state, or we could even say hallucinative state, alpha states, very relaxed, very chill. This is the lounge programs. Up into our betas, our alpha or our beta 1, 2, 3 zones, to our mu waves. At the point of just before we perform an action that requires a tremendous amount of coordination, muscular coordination. So I'm going to get up from my chair. I'm going to jump over the fence. Our entire body neurological system emits mu waves. They are between alpha and beta. And what they are is they synchronize neural networks.
Wow.
Because as we jump, don't forget there are
There's a lot that has to happen at the same time,
and neural groups that need to manage balance and force and velocity, etc. So these are mu waves. And beta waves, our day-to-day consciousness, the busier we get, the further it increases up the scale. And right up to gamma waves, which are the fastest neural oscillations. And these are present under two conditions. One, when we're doing multitasking, so we're driving on the M1 at 70 miles an hour in rush hour traffic while we're texting, listening to the radio, and speaking to our kids sitting in the back seat. This is gamma oscillation, multitasking capacity. This is what kids, when they play Nintendos and they're listening to the sounds and the images and things that are moving all over the screen, their brains are in gamma state.
And you're talking specifically about the brain activity, or is this a field all over our body?
Exactly. So many people associate neural oscillations and they localize it to the brain. That's only because traditionally we have electrodes that we connect to the head. So we assume that this is in the brain. It is in the brain, but you know what? Neural oscillations are traveling through our entire nervous system.
Do they emanate from the brain? At least, is that the starting point?
There are inputs and outputs. So sensory inputs are coming from our sensory nerves.
Okay.
that move their way up into the brain and then control information that moves down from the brain through the nervous system to the muscle groups, to the sensory channels, so that allow us to say, ouch, that's hot. So information has passed up the network and then back down the network. And then there was additional information based on the interpretation of the signal, which was, ouch, that's hot, let's move the hand away from there.
So the brain is kind of like the computer part of us.
Exactly. And gamma waves are also present during deep meditation, during, let's call it shamanic voyages. The use of psychotropes would allow us to put the brain into gamma state. We can put the brain into other states as well. Now here is a mechanism that allows us to have this experience, but without the chemistry. So we can put a person into a complete meditative state, into a state of hyperlucidity, or into a state of
hallucination. I want to try this machine. Yeah. Am I invited to come and try the machine?
You know, why don't you invite me? I'll bring my installation.
Really?
We'll set it up here.
I thought it'd be big.
Huh? No, we can find speakers
it's not a big,
here.
Big.
I will bring my electronics.
Sure.
And we can set it up.
Oh, yeah.
I do have a big system. I have a huge system in my lab.
I'm just looking for a reason to come to Switzerland.
Oh, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Huh?
Well, I know you have to leave, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want you to stress out.
We need to wrap this up now.
I want to say, Pierre, thank you so much for taking the time to come by my office here. It's been truly fascinating, except for the parking bit, but I can probably cut that out. But a phenomenal tale, and I truly can't wait to hear more. So let's schedule that whole thing with the contraption, and you can use me as a guinea pig, and let's film some stuff, and of course with the bit of rock. Which surely must have a more impressive name than the bit of rock. I hate referring to something that possibly is the first proof of, intergalactic material. What do you call it?
I call it the octastone.
The octastone. That's good. I like that. The octastone.
Right now, again, I'm my own biggest skeptic.
Okay.
If this is actually physical evidence of some sort of intergalactic material, then we need to rewrite a lot of things in our history books.
Well, that's probably not a bad thing.
Yeah, because looking at today's history books, we see that it's not leading to a happy world.
I certainly don't think any future civilizations are going to look back on our civilization where we are right now and go, those guys in 2016, they had it right. Let's try and do what they did, Yeah,
that's true.
Let's label every person so that they all have to believe in different things that divide them and make them dislike each other. It's horrible configuration right now.
When I look at what's happening, and in fact, the purpose of all this right now, there is a purpose. And this is part of the message. And there are two parts to this message, and one of them I've already spoken to Anthony about. And that is, the purpose of all this is human evolution. And we're not speaking here about some woo-woo version of evolution. We're speaking about a real concrete ability for humans to live, to heal, to feel very, very differently. Very, very differently with this new information. Secondly, in my lab, I have prototypes that will probably keep me busy for the next 2 or 3 lifetimes.
Wow.
But at the same time, there are 300 notebooks of designs, which in fact, I'm going to publish. And whoever would like to tinker and build further prototypes.
You're the Bill Gates of the super gadget world.
You're
letting it be out there.
It's time to change the world.
The Microsoft Windows, except yours will be way better.
It's time to change the world.
Yeah. It's unbelievable, the thread of people that I'm crossing paths with very brilliant people like yourself who are on a vibration where their work is surmounting to the, the message of changing the world and the recognition of how badly that's needed, Well, I'm going to let you go off and at least change, hopefully, one lady's life with her son. Mm-hmm. And we will speak soon. And big thank you and congratulations again on the recognition of, the Bioscope. A phenomenal achievement.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre.
Thank you, Natalie.
The Bioscope and the Audio Vitality gadget. Well, there you go. You heard it, guys. What do you think? Write and let me know at thegreyescape.com. I mean, what is going on? Look at the thread here in all these recent episodes of The Grey Escape. We've got people on the show like Mike Booth, chairman of Orasoma, a multi-million-dollar company, scientists like John Stewart Reed and now Pierre Rubessa, people who have reputations at stake, and they're sharing their experience, a crazy experience, something that altered the course of their lives, like what happened to me. Maybe I'm going to be a scientist. I am interested in getting a microscope. I've been watching YouTube videos on blood platelets. What is happening to me? This could be the beginning. I'm going to need a lab coat and a lab. I have syringes, but they are to give my cat her daily medication. But it's a start, I'm comfortable with a cat syringe. This is all mind-blowing. Like, why did these guys have the experiences? Was it a coincidence or were they chosen? We've got two people who've been on the show who were in audio and they have these experiences and now they're sound scientists. And the overlap with Pierre and myself, both receiving scientific information. Does a near-death experience open a door that leads to an obsession with vibrational healing? And what is Pierre's octastone? We know it's not a stick of gum, by the way. And if it's not from this planet, where is it from? I'm going to post pictures for you guys, as always, at thegreyescape.com, including of the octastone, and how you can learn more about what Pierre is up to with his gadgets. These episodes, look at all the stuff we've learned in these episodes. We now know we have the speed of gamma waves going through our brains. We're like superheroes. We don't need lab coats. We need a cape. I'm going to be cat syringe woman. So next week on The Grey Escape, we have more mind-blowing information. I mean, this one is controversial. Right? Information that is enough to turn one of the main structures of our society completely on its head. Don't miss it. Thank you guys, as always, for listening. Don't forget, you can go to thegreyescape.com/cash and get your free international money transfer, courtesy of the show, up to £2,000 or equivalent. That's all kinds of crazy currency amounts you can be sending all over the place. It's amazing and can only be had at thegreyescape.com/cash. That's all from me. I can't wait to be back with you guys for more of this juicy stuff. Watch what your neural oscillations are doing in your head because they're powerful. They're like gamma rays, right? They're going at the speed of gamma waves. Okay, take care, and I'll catch you next time at The Grey Escape. I'm so going to need a cape.